Hey, Christy Mattoon here from Rewire, driving across the country again. Actually, this time I'm only going from Utah to Colorado, so I'm actually heading out that direction for I don't know what you'd call it, like a convention I'm going to, so I'm pretty excited about that. I am a participant, which is super fun. And so I'm just driving, and I was sitting here thinking about how one of the biggest questions, and they're all big questions, every time I do one of these, it's like one of the biggest questions people ask me, but they do, and it's repetitive, and it's all the time trying to figure this stuff out. And one of the things that people talk about a lot is how you figure out like what it'll be like to stay or to be in that place where you keep your vibration high. Is it going to be worth it? Which is an interesting question. That's a really interesting question. Like, I'm doing all this work trying to get this higher vibration, and is it going to be worth it? Is it something that's going to stick for me? And all I can do is tell people, you got to try it to know. You have to do the work, get yourself in the position to know. And here's the deal. If you came from a home of a lot of trauma, if you came from a place where implanted into your subconscious is anger and hate and sadness and frustration, like super deep kind of implant, right? Mine was confusion. I mean, I can't even tell you, everything to me was confusing. Everything. Doing the work got me out of the confusion. It started making sense of life where life had no sense for the longest time. When you do the work on a consistent basis, and some of that stuff starts to let go, what you will notice is that everything around you starts to change. And it's hard to explain to a person. It's hard to describe to you what that's going to feel like until you get there. Because you don't know until you know. And you seriously don't. That sounds, kind of cliche, I suppose. But you really don't know until you know. If you're constantly in a state that's less than what you want, if you're constantly in a state that is less than what you want, in order to see what life could be on the outside of that state, you have to get into a different state. Does that make sense? If I'm in anger all the time at whatever situation, right? Pick anything. If my normal state of being is anger and I'm really tired of being angry, because you get to a place where you realize, okay, this isn't doing me any good. Being angry all the time at anything doesn't do you any good. And you realize that, you recognize it, and you say, okay, I don't want to be angry anymore. And you find a feeling that's better than anger, and you start trying to get that more into your life, right? You start trying to see that more in your life and in things around you. In doing that, you're going to start training this new feeling that you like better than anger into your system. When you do that and you get consistent at it, you will notice that things around you start to change. Here's why. If I'm in anger all the time and I'm in stress chemicals saturated with anger chemicals and hormones, life will show up the way it shows up, right? Life will show up, people will show up according to your level of vibration, which in this case would be anger. Once you start changing that, the really super interesting thing is that whatever you end up vibrating at is what starts to show up. So everything around you starts changing in regards to whatever that is, right? Whatever your new level of feeling is, whatever your new level of vibration is. Does that make sense? So, in order to get there, and this is the tricky part for a lot of people, in order to get there, you have to get there. You do. You have to practice it. You have to stay in it. You have to remind yourself. You have to do everything that you can possibly do to keep your awareness and focus on the feeling that you want to be. right? If you don't, you will end up being whatever has been trained into your subconscious from the time of trauma, from the time of issue. And if it was your birth, if it was something in utero that caused the issue, you can be stuck there your whole life. And I'm sure, I know for a fact that that's the case with a lot of people. I work with 70 and 80-year-olds who are just tired of living the life that they've lived, and they're like, seriously, and excuse my language, but many of them will just flat out say it, what the fuck? What on earth did I live my whole life like this for? Feeling this way. And I'm like, wow. The oldest person I've ever worked with was 89 years old, and this guy showed up and he was like, I just don't get it. What on earth? He goes, even if I only get 5 days of happiness, how do I do that? What does it feel like? Wow. If you know you can change your state of being by changing your feeling, why on earth wouldn't you put the work in to do it? How much work do you put in on a daily basis to stay where you are by not doing anything? By not doing anything. Now, some people would ask me why I'm so revved up about this right now. As I go off the road. And I didn't. It was just a little bumpy patch. Here's the deal. Driving across the country from Utah to Wyoming, I see a lot of stuff. A lot of empty space, a lot of open energy, a lot of beautiful cloud formations. Right now I'm in a little bit of snow. I'm closer to the Colorado side at this point, heading towards Cheyenne. It's freaking gorgeous. All I can do is sit here and be in gratitude. And the level of feeling blows me away when it gets higher and higher and bigger. And you sit there with your heart swelling and expanding. And I really feel like God just put in my heart, put this on a video, throw it out there. Because there's people that are missing the point. And the point is, you don't have to live in your negative emotion. You don't have to live in your negative vibration. And merely by changing that, you will feel different. You will come into a place where you attract what you put out, right? What you're putting out is a vibration. The vibration is in accordance to whatever you're thinking and feeling. And if that's in coherence to whatever was in your past, and you don't want to live like that, you have the option to change it merely by finding a different feeling and then training that feeling into your system. You can do this. It's what I teach people how to do all the time. I talk about this all the time, right? It's all I talk about. And it makes me super happy, so that's awesome. Hey, I want you to take this information and share it. If it resonates with you, share it. If you haven't liked my channel, please do that. Subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And keep watching, right? There's a link floating around on a number of my recent videos that will take you to a page where you can pay what you want to learn how to use a whole brain state to change the state of your subconscious mind. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, right? Issues, past issues. It's all inside this little seminar that I did with a group of people not too long ago. All right? Get on that. Learn how to do it and use it. Let me know how it's working for you. I have gotten amazing feedback on it so far. So I want you to jump on it. It is pay what you want. The suggested price on it is $25. Guys, that's cheap. That is cheap. If you know what it costs for some of these protocols that teach you how to use a whole brain state, you will be blown away. And you don't have to muscle test. No muscle testing required, okay? So don't think that that's an issue. It's not an issue. No muscle testing required. Anyway, all right, bless you. I hope this blesses you. Please share any of my videos. And I greatly appreciate you being here. Thanks.